Examine the role that religion and spiritual leaders can play in resolving conflicts and contributing to diplomatic dialogue and processes. So please, as you're listening to these speakers, please think about this topic. We would like this session to be very interactive. Please, if you have some questions that can stimulate discussion or some comments, so please prepare for a lively discussion after our speakers. Our first speaker is from Turkey. His name is Mr. Samsettin Turkan. He is the chairman of the International Council of NGOs for Solidarity. Mr. Turkan is a scientist, author, educator, and former administrator of curriculum development at the Ministry of Education in Turkey. He is the chairman of both the International Council of Solidarity of NGOs and African Friendship Association. Mr. Turkan has extensive international experience speaking on NGO cooperation and on the Islamic civilization and its virtues. So let's welcome Mr. Turkan.
Dear guests, respectable brothers and sisters, let me call you like that. First of all, I'm really impressed to have this kind of events, since I have been following the events of activities of this Global Peace Foundation in Philippines, in Kenya, in Mongolia, in Korea, US, and now in Malaysia as a wonderful country. Actually, just I arrived 2 hours ago, and then I left my luggage in the hotel, another hotel, and rush here to catch the sessions, and that's why I couldn't bring the PowerPoint presentations. It was well prepared. Since I have arrived, she said, "Oh, just you are ready to be even as a first speaker." So I was surprised. I said, "Okay, that's okay. We have to solve the problems anytime." So if you are not a part of problem solving, then you are a problem. That's why this is my character, to help to solve problems. Actually, the topic I'm going to speak is that humanity has so much common problems today. Doesn't matter which nation you belongs to, which religions or faith you belongs to, but we have common problems. Mainly among the youth. I can give some names and numbers in developed countries, even in Europe, in America, in societies which we are living. One of the main problems is that the family issue. Family is under attack today, as we know. All religions agree that family is under attack so hardly these days. The number of getting divorces increasing in all countries, unfortunately. I was so surprised when I was studying in UK. When I read the article, they said the number of percentage of getting divorced in UK is 33%. It was 15 years ago. In my presentation, it's now I could maybe make later on, if there's a chance, tomorrow or the after tomorrow. It became much more now. It's around 45% in Norway, Swiss. The percentage of getting divorced in America is 52%. Can you imagine? 100 couples are getting married, 52 couples are getting divorced. It's a big problem. doesn't matter which nation you are belongs to. It's a problem for humanity. Turkey, my country, it was around 4%, but now it became now 14% even. Still less, but increasing very fast. So family is under attack. It's a big problem, conflict issue for all of us. Second problem is committing suicide. It's increasing in all societies, unfortunately. I have numbers of the figures of the statistics that they mentioned that in America every year around 40,000 young people are committing suicide. Their ages are between 16 to 24. 40,000. Can you imagine? It's a big problem for humanity, for all societies. In some Scandinavian countries, there are some associations, NGOs, they are teaching how to commit suicide. Yes. How can you make commit suicide? But it's not free. You have to pay. They teach you. It's not cheap. It's very expensive also. You will have a very special, unique suicide style for yourself only. And in Belgium, I have a report. There's a center which is trying to protect people from committing suicide. And in that report, they said, in 1 year, they rescued 10,331 people. Let's say someone who, cut his blood and then started going to die, then called to, let's say 118 or the number, they came and rescued. 10,231 people were rescued in Belgium. It's a developed country. People are educated, they have money, they have job, but what's the problem? Because of lack of the belief. I believe. That's why all religions need to have cooperation. Stress and depression is a big problem. In US, I have a report on that issue also, 70 million people are using antidepressant drugs, drugs against to stress and depression. 70 million people. And psychologists are the best job in those countries. They get good money. Again, drug problem is increasing. It's a problem for all of us. In Europe, in 1 year, 240,000 people, something more, young people are died because of this problem. Another problem is HIV virus, AIDS. It's a problem for all the religions. Alcohol, injustice, lack of justice, human rights issues, problems, wars, refugees. But I strongly believe that if there's a peace between religions, then humanity will reach peace easily. That's why we need more cooperation, collaboration, coordination, as much as possible, as strong as possible, as soon as possible. And also, poverty. At the moment, 2 billion people are living with only $1 per day. 2 billion people on the world are living with $1 per day. So this is a big problem. We have to think about this. So misunderstanding on each other is another problem. We have to understand each other. I know many people. I have visited nearly 50 countries. Just I came back from Poland last week, and 2 weeks later I'm going to Mongolia. Now, one of our friends in Belgium, she said, Mr. Shams, Mr. Turkan, could you please tell me how many wives do you have? I said, what? What do you mean? He said, well, as far as I know, you must have 5 wives. four wives. I said, what? Now you see, she said, no, as far as we know, all Muslims are having 4 wives. It's a misunderstanding. In Islamic law, women cannot drive a car. See, all Muslims are Arab. They're all misconceptions, misunderstandings. We have to understand each other. Again, jihad issue. And they say, oh, jihad is a holy war, right? But if you look at the Prophet Muhammad's life, all his life is 63 years. But he spent only 52 days in the wars. Out of 63 years, his life, he spent only 52 days in the wars. But whenever people talk about the holy war, say, oh, the jihad, Islamic terrorism, blah, blah, blah. It's again, misunderstanding. And he has 3 wars, and and while he was, they were going back to the city after battle, and he asked they lost the war. Many people died, and he said, now we are going to big war than small war. They said, how, Holy Prophet, how you say that? We lost the war. We have lost many of our friends. He said, well, the biggest war is to fight with your selfishness, with your ego. This biggest ego, the war you have to be, fighting, he said. So I don't want to go into details, but there are so many statistics and numbers I could show on you on the PowerPoint, but I don't want to go into detail. Now, in that case, these all problems, getting divorced, family issue, committing suicide, AIDS, stress, depression, wars, refugees, human rights issues, injustice, ignorance, conflicts, all these are problems for all of religions. All faiths are supposed to, cooperate to solve that problems together. That's why interfaith dialogue is very big need. We have to focus much and much on that issue. I strongly believe that. I'm going to just summarize that one of the big famous scholars in Turkey, his name is Bediüzzaman Said Nursi. He said, as humanity, we have 3 enemies. 3 enemies. 1, ignorant. 2nd, poverty. 3rd one is conflict. Ignorant, poverty, and conflict. He said there are 3 solutions. For ignorant, we need education. For poverty, we need science and business. For conflict, we need unity and cooperation. How nice solution, you see? How wonderful solution. It doesn't matter which religion you are belong to. It doesn't matter which faith you are belonging to. But we can do together all these solutions. Finally, he said, if number 1 here, number 1 there, number there, like that. If you add them to each other, it will be 3, right? 1 plus 1 plus 1 will be 3. But if you put them on the same line, it will be 111. This is the power of unity. We need to unite. We have to unite as much as possible, as strong as possible, as interfaith dialogue, cooperation. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Turkan. My feeling from your talk is what's so important is that we want to unite. The desire to cooperate, the desire to be open-hearted and look for our similarities and not our differences. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Ms. Ratna Osman, Executive Director.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and greetings of peace to everyone in this room. Thank you, Gail, for that nice introduction, and my fellow speaker and everyone. I've been entrusted to talk on, to share actually the work of sisters in Islam when it comes to religious extremism, and how when we are faced with conflict, do we counter really using religious argument. So of course sisters in Islam work is very much looking into the rights of Muslim women, but it is also looking at, as a whole, the basic need of understanding on Islam that is beautiful, Islam that is peaceful, Islam that acknowledge human dignity, karama, and how as I go on with my hopefully 12 minutes presentation, we look at the interpretation of Islam in today's society. Because actually, if somebody, reading about Islam and then actually meeting a Muslim society today, it's very difficult to engage both what they read about the beautiful Islam and the reality in the society. Yeah? I hope I will do justice within the 12 minutes to talk on something quite heavy. Yes. But, okay, so I'll just begin with like I said, Islam came into 7th century Arabia when the situation, when the basic rights of human are actually questionable. Yeah, especially half of the population, which is the women, and then also there was slavery. So when Islam came, you have all sorts of issues of human rights abused, yeah, that was sort of saved by the revelation from God. And women in 7th century Arabia, unheard of having property. And this is not just restricted to 7th century Arabia, it's also in medieval Europe, it's everywhere, that women do not inherit, women cannot have a name to herself, that she is to follow the husband's, will, and upon death of husband, then she's transferred to within the tribal agreement to whom she will go. So all these ended when Islam came. Islam gave women the right to property, unheard of in 7th century Arabia. Yeah? In fact, when the revelation for inheritance came in the Quran, some of the Prophet's companions said, why should we give to those who don't go out and ride horses? I mean, we protect them. Why is it that they inherit property? Yeah? So all these basic issues in today's society, women can own property. Today's 21st century, it's like, why, it's no issue at all. Yeah, but it was an issue back then, and how bit by bit Islam eradicates such injustice. Next. And that's why I said, if somebody read, how beautiful Islam is and all that, but if, let's say, they come to 21st century today, yeah, to Malaysia, and then they started reading news about forced marriage, about a child, 10 years old, being married to somebody who's 40 years old. What is this? Is this Islam? It's being practiced under the name of Islam. Next. Again, news of a rapist, just recently, a rapist who raped a 40-year-old who befriended on Facebook a girl who's 12 years old, and then 6 months later raped her, and now, of course, the criminal court is going on. But, in order to escape such penalty, to escape the conviction, he actually married the girl, and it was allowed, within the Sharia term. Court. The Sharia court allowed it. Next, and then suddenly you have all these cases coming up of children getting married, because in Malaysia, premarital HIV screening is compulsory for Muslims. So you have girls as below 10 years old going for HIV testing for marriage, and you have a girl who's barely 13 or 14 getting married to her religious teacher. So you have all this, and then it's done by the name of Islam. And next. And then, of course, some of our work on polygamy itself, Mr. Turkan mentioned about, all Muslim men should have 4 wives. Is that it? No, of course it's not. But in Malaysia, it is legal for Muslim families, for Muslim men to have 4 wives. And these are some of the findings of Sisters in Islam. So the current scenario next. So when we talk about the beauty of Islam, Malaysia was actually at the right track, because we had one of the best law for very progressive, when it comes to religious context, very, very progressive, very good, looking at the rights of Muslim men and also Muslim women. But unfortunately, 10 years and after that, a lot of amendments to the law that has reversed such gains. And then you can see the trends of the law reform in Malaysia as a glance here on how the civil law is moving towards equality for spouses, and unfortunately not so much for the Islamic law, especially when it comes to Muslim women's rights, because regressive amendments, good law 1984, then bad amendments 1984, another series of bad amendments in 2005, and other issues. Next. So when we talk about this, and this is not particularly happening in Malaysia. It's of course all over the world, and it's not just about one religion, Islam, but I'm sharing my experience from what we do. Where the concern on the rise of political Islam, Islam that was invoked under the name of God or in the name of Sharia, and then we know, any Muslims would know, that within the richness of Islamic jurisprudence, there are many schools of law. So which part of Sharia that you then claim as divine and you make it into codification of laws? So again, we ask the question, when it comes to the rise of religious extremism, there's always the tendency to look at the most conservative and most patriarchal interpretation of Sharia, which has some other options actually, And in the name of Islam, the abuse in the name of Islam of saying that this is Sharia, nobody can question it, when it is actually factually very false. It is not true, because Islamic tradition between big imams, intelligent scholars in Islamic history have always been, their position has always been, this is my opinion and I stand by it, but the other imam may be right, because Allahu A'lam, because Allah knows best, So that is why Imam Malik, when Khalifa Mansur, there's one caliph who said, Imam Malik, I love your book Muwatta so much, I want to codify this so that the whole of Islamic empire becomes only one law. And he said, no, don't do that, because this book is my observation, my decision on my society. But other Muslims from within other societies may have different opinion, different adat, different culture. So do not ever just define Sharia as very narrow. Next. And then, so there are groups of scholars who then actually said, or a Muslim then said that we need to push for this one Sharia and one nation state. But again, whose version or whose opinion of ulama that they are taking to actually enforce. And then, of course, it will lead to all the other discriminatories that I've said. Yeah. So there is a chance for progressiveness. Yeah. And there is a chance also to look at religious extremism. Where do we want to go? Next. And then, of course, when you talk about Muslim women, the richness of, that's why I say history is very important in any religion, in any society. Muslim women have always been honored in Islam since day one. When Caliph Umar wanted to change something about mahar, about the dowry, yeah, so he was a caliph, he was the leader, he was the Amirul Mu'mineen, he was the leader of the Muslims. So he said, I want to change and to standardize the rate of mahar, of dowry. One woman stood up and said, how dare you change something that Quran has given us the right to determine? So the Caliph Umar did not say, oh, you woman, I'm the Caliph, I have, legitimacy to talk about changes. No, he said, the woman is correct and the Caliph is wrong. So women has always been honored. If you look in the Quran, the text, the sacred text itself, there's a lot of women who actually ask, the women who ask questions to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, but today, it's as if when women voice out for their rights that have been given within Islamic tradition, it's deemed as if they are Western agents. It's deemed, they are called as liberal. And suddenly liberal, which is in Quran as, ummatan wasatan, as the ummah or the people who are neither extreme here nor there, but now liberal has become a dirty word. Why? Secularism becomes bad, pluralism becomes bad. Why? Why do we allow religious extremism voice to define what Islam is when that is not Islam? Next. And the work of Sisters in Islam especially, and all other progressive moderate scholars are actually saying that we need to engage with our faith. Our faith is very precious to us, and we do not want to allow people who say that there is between creatures of God, in the opening speech, there's the equality of creatures of God, Adam and Eve, or Christians and Muslims and Jews and Buddhists and Hindus. But why is it now we are saying that there should be male superiority and then women subjugation towards male? So there has to be an end to patriarchy and voice of extremism, and these are some of the works that we do. Next. So the way forward towards countering religious extremism is definitely not from the West. It is definitely not from any other source but Islam, because Islam has provided us that justice and equality language that was spoken in 7th century Arabia when medieval Europe wouldn't even think about. And then it also has to acknowledge, we stand by it. You have to acknowledge the change of society. If Imam Malik refused to codify his own book for the society in his time, what more? In 21st century, the shift has gone so much from 7th century Arabia, from 12th century, 15th century until today. And we also said that we have to honor each of our country, and in Malaysia, of course, the constitutional guarantees of all its citizens, equality, and also non-discrimination, and also international obligation. So next, how Sisters in Islam push to counter religious extremism, to counter those who monopolize issues that affect Muslim women especially, and as a whole the Muslim society, is to actually look at the text and say, when God said that men can choose 2, 3, 4 wives, what did he say after that? He said, فَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا, and if you fear that you cannot do justice, and marry only one. So the condition of justice, which was actually in 1984 Islamic family law, was very good. 5 very strict conditions, yeah, before it was amended, so, because scholars were trying to realize that al-adl, or justice, that Allah mentioned in the Quran. So is that a divine right for men? Or if you look at the whole verse, it was all about protection for orphans and widows. Next. So just last one. So we say that any version of Islamic law, any interpretation or any opinion that you take from the schools of law in Islam has to look at the needs of the society and has to ensure the maqasid Sharia, which is the objective of Sharia, which is to attain justice, yeah, and protection of those 5, and also to give solution to maslaha ummah, to the best interest of the people. And therefore, we do acknowledge that there are a lot of other voices calling for justice, calling for equality. Next. So Sister Islam initiated the global movement of Musawah to look at the Muslim family law and to say that equality and justice is within Islam. Next. So we say there is a verse, the last verse, that talk about the relationship between man and woman, yeah? And to see how beautiful it is, because God said that man and woman, وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ, that they are protectors of one another, not one controlling the other. They protect one another, and they do good work, and so on and so forth. And so hopefully with the launch of Musawah, we will all call towards looking at laws that speak of justice and equality, and to say no to anything that does not move towards justice and equality. Thank you so much.
The passion of women. Let's give her another hand. Okay, there's a lot of work to be done, and a lot of energy is needed to do that work. So we really appreciate your expression. Okay, so as we've been listening to our speakers here and looking at our topic and our theme, is there someone who has some questions to put forth or comments?
Yes, about the suicide thing. For me, could you elaborate more about the suicide cases? And
Well, actually, it's a really important question to be asked to all the educators, pedagogues, psychologists, or the intellectuals and the scientists should be working on that issue. It's the fact that, unfortunately, if I was able to show you those numbers, statistics, it's increasing very rapidly. In developed countries, it's surprisingly, I mean, I was disappointed so much, I was surprised so much. And then I tried to find out why. Why those people want to commit suicide. It was quite long time ago. One of the ministers of the Swiss came to Turkey, and he had an interview on one of the newspaper, and he said, it was quite long time, I don't know what, more than 10 years ago, maybe much more, and he said, in last a few years, we find out that in 3 issues, the problems are increasing. 1, suicide. 2, stealing something, theft. And then 3rd one, doing some crimes, some violence. So we select some pedagogues, psychologists, educators, and scientists, professors from universities. They worked several months. They made survey among the young people at university, high school level. And then thousands of them have been asked questions. At the end, they prepared a report. And they said that the people there, people are educated. They have enough education, people have their money, they have lifestyle is very high, good standards, and there is no unemployment, and they can do whatever they want. But why do they, kill themselves? Why the increasing, the suicide increasing? Same thing in Japan, for example. In last years, it's now increasing so much too. So they said that when the human psychology, when you get everything you want, then you start to be looking for something different. Let's say you love honey, okay? You love sweet and honey. If I serve you honey in morning, in lunch, in dinner, every day, what will happen 1 month later? Probably you will hate to have honey anymore, right? You'll be looking something for, peppers or spicy things which I don't like. You see? Something like that. So when you serve everything the people, then later on they start to try to find something more. Second issue is that, for example, they said they start to think there are 3 main questions. If you take a plane and someone asks you that, excuse me, when you depart from the airport, 15 minutes later, if someone asks you next to you, sitting next to you, he said, excuse me, sir, where are we going? Then you will get I'm upset. Why? He's asking that stupid question. He's in the plane, he asked me, where are we going? And then 10 minutes later, if he asks you again, excuse me, where do you come from? Stupid question again. And third time he asks you, excuse me, why I am here in this plane? Then you will get angry. Come on, please, let's stop it. You are in the plane, you don't know where you are going, where do you come from, why you are in the plane? Same thing. The speed of our Earth is 108,000 kilometers per hour around the sun. 108,000 kilometers per hour, which is 40 times more than Concurrent planes, which is 2 times faster than speed of voice, sound. So I ask you, where do you come from? Where are you going? And why we are here? So when you don't find the answer, they start to have the stress. Then what they do, they find they made another survey, prepared another report. They said, if young people have something spiritual education, they start to think about paradise and to be happy, to be happy with the sharing the people, helping people, etc. They start to build churches and temples for Christians, for Muslims, for Jewish people, for other religions, and then repeatedly they start to decrease the number of the suicide. So it means a lack of belief, they said. That's one of the explanations he mentioned.
Hi. Yeah, sure. My name is Omna Ong. I'm from the Baha'i community of Malaysia. Mine's not so much of a question, because we're all here to yes. So it's more of a comment, a contribution to the discussion. Today's topic is religion and conflict in terms of conflict. And what Mr. Turkan shared earlier, gave that long list of issues, suicide being one of them, are essentially social ills, right? Social ills, and we can look at it in terms of social ills as a result of people being disillusioned by something, over materialism, injustice, ego, a whole lot of things which are really symptoms of social ills. And then instead of focusing on that, I think perhaps today we can consider the power that religions, in Malaysia we really have all the religions present here, Now, the power that religions have in contributing towards the promotion of unity, the promotion of equality in any particular society. Because more often than not, people associate conflict with religion. But let's consider the power of religion. And the other point that I wanted to make is I think all of us belong to this society. All of us belong in some way, either as an individual, we are part of some kind of institution, we are definitely a part of community. So all of us, I think, have this part to play in how our society develops. And I think religious organizations or faith-based organizations, which are essentially the touch points at the grassroots, have this great capacity to bring this about. And the other last point I wanted to make is, can we also consider, when we talk of conflict, we talk about disagreements, things that we can't agree on. Now, can we consider a society that is governed by high-level principles, universal principles, like the oneness of humanity, like the elimination of all forms of prejudice, about universal education, principle that science and religion must go hand in hand in order for a society to improve and to get prosperity and peace in society. So can we consider that perhaps if we talk about these high-level universal principles and we focus on the power of religion to bring that about, then maybe we are taking some closer baby steps towards taking care of even many of the issues that Ratna raised as well.
Thank you very much. That's very good points there. To focus on what we have in common, to identify those universal principles, and then to build on that. Okay, we had someone back, two people back there. So this is really the beauty of gathering here together, to have stimulating comments and questions, and then this kind of sharing, and as we go up to lunch, you can continue your discussions. So there are so many social ills, but as we meet with people from different countries and different religions and races, we can share what are the solutions, or how do you deal with this, how do you deal with that, and it's such a wonderful opportunity that we have in this meeting. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sandra Medawo, and I am from Indonesia. And actually here, the first one, I would like to contribute to our discussions in this afternoon. And the second one, I would like to give a questions to the speaker. And the first, I would like to contribute about how to create a peace. Usually that I truly believe about the concept that what had been told before in the first sessions about the understanding. The understanding, I believe, is very crucial, because when we understand, so we know that how the characteristics of our relatives. This is always lost in our connection with the people. The first, I believe that we should know each other in terms of having the relationship. As an example, if I am a Christian, so I should know my friends from Muslim. So I'm not going to judge them to do something that's very different from me. So I can know that how their worship goes on. I can know about my friends from Hindu, so I'm not going to judge them at the end of the day. What happens right now is many people to be very conservative, in my view, because we don't want to know each other. Because we learn about the religion. This is a Christian. We are conservative. This is what will happen if you're not Christian, or this is what will happen if you're not Muslim, or something like that. And at the end of the day, sometimes we judge about the heaven or hell. This is very crucial, I guess. So by knowing each other, actually, I think this is very important for us to know what's the basic principle of our religions. And the secondly, it's not only about knowing each other or understanding, but about the social interaction. I believe like this, that many conservative people from their own religions not socialize with people directly, or they're too conservative and to be alone. This is my religions, this is my sect, this is my parties, this is everything. So I don't want to know about you because you are wrong, I'm right. The truth is for me, not for you. This is what I believe that. The first one is about knowing each other, but not only knowing each other, but also we should have the direct socialization, and then we should live together, because living together is very important. Yeah, this is my point of view about creating a peace actually between across religions. You are Christian, Muslim, Hindus, Buddhists, and other religions. We should respect each other. This is a perspective of all of us here, and this is what we should respect. That's my point of view. And my question is like this. We talk right now is about religions and conflict resolutions. But we forget that actually that the conflict is not only about religion to religion or cross religions, cross cultures. We always talk about the particular religions and other religions to compare about it, to have the same perspective on the religions. But we didn't talk in these discussions about the atheism, about those who believe about the humanism, that I truly believe we should discuss also about it. Because at the end of the day, sometimes it becomes a problem when someone really believe about humanism and you believe in the religions, and we just judge them because you're family under God, so I don't want to respect you because you don't have God. Yeah. So that's this is my question to the speaker. How about the non-believers, those who don't have the religion, believe to the humanism? I believe, as a report before that in the UK, as an example, 15% are atheists. Yeah, this is a truly data. So my question is how we treat the people that non-believers do not have the religions, and how about the country that to impose very strictly for those who do not have the religions? Should they have the freedom to do not have the religion, or should we force them in terms of peace or something like that? And you should have the religion, or because your country said that you should have religion according to the constitutions or something like that. Thank you so much. I just want to share and give my opinion. Thank you so much for all of you all.
Thank you very much. That's a very, very, very good questions. And does someone want to respond to those questions? We have our speakers have had a lot of opportunity to share. So is there someone out there who would like to respond to those questions that he gave? I know you have another question, something different? Okay. Someone have some opinion, some response?
Assalamualaikum and a very pleasant day. Happy to everyone here. Mr. Sandran, if I'm not mistaken, it was a very good question. First is about how to understand each other. The second is about how do we perceive atheists as a whole. The third person is that it's not about right or wrong, it's about understanding and living together in this one world, right? So I'm giving, about the understanding itself, I'm going to give you a very simple concept, a tree concept rather. This in Islam we have the, can you guys hear me? Oh, alright, okay, awesome. First is about the muhasabah. How to be a better person and how to respect and understand each other. First you have to muhasabah yourself. Muhasabah meaning that you have to understand what is your strength and what is your weaknesses. You have to understand by the end of the day, did you do the right thing today? Did any of the thing that you do, may it be simple or may it be complicated, does it actually bring forth of understanding and respect to each other? Because as we see, history has taught us a lot of things, and one thing is that even the simple thing that we do may actually cause conflicts to the other people, because a simple thing can cause a lot of problems. So always muhasabah yourself, understand yourself, see yourself, mirror yourself, what is the right thing that you should have done. And now the second part is mujahadah. Mujahadah by the definition itself is by war. And I like the first speaker said, but and the second speaker said, the biggest war is always about the war with yourself. Because this is about the mujahadah. You fight your weakness. You improve your strength. So mujahadah is always a constant improvement. Not just by individual, not just by a company, not just by a nation, but as the whole, as a person itself. In everything that you do, you must always a continuous improvement. This is mujahadah. And in muhasabah and mujahadah, this is not a one-term thing. You have to be continuous. And that's the concept that is istiqomah. Istiqomah is that you must do it continuously. So by the simple concept of muhasabah, mujahadah, and istiqomah, then you can achieve understanding and respect each other, because you have a simple thing, that unity is a complicated business. Understanding each other, even if it's your husband or it's your wife, you can never truly understand the person, right? Because two individuals are unique. And we have to continuously try to understand and try to be respect to each other. That's where muhasabah, mujahadah, istiqomah comes.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. The third part.
You need to wrap it up a little bit, because we have lunch coming.
The last part about atheists. The simple thing about atheists is that, are they human? Are they individuals? Do they have the same blood as we? They have the same thing. They are human. They are our friend. Regardless of what they believe, we need to respect them and we need to treat them as individuals. Simple as that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Can you make it really short?
Sorry.
No, this man has had his hand up a long time. Here. Because lunch is waiting, so please make it very short.
Short. Oh my goodness, it's not possible. My name is T.K. Lee. I'm from the Baha'i community of Malaysia, and I also serve in INSAF under Pure Life Society. It's a tall order in that sense. I quite like Mr. Tukan's mention about putting three together and putting as one as power unity. It's excellent, really. It gives a different mind shift. And on Sister Ratna, I really applaud you for quoting this Imam Malik, stating that, whatever his understanding of that cannot be applied, in the sense that it evolves. So you find that all religions will have the same spiritual principles, and it is through the spiritual principle that you evolve your laws. And you quite rightly put that therefore laws are going to evolve, but spiritual principles still remain the same, the principle of justice. So what justice was in the past is different from what is now application. My question now is this: how can the ulamas or religious leaders in the country relook at their religious principles, which embedded the laws are there, to be recast in the light of present day age? In the sense that we are one, as what Mr. Khan said. How can we live together to have that? And perhaps, as individuals, we have to look beyond religion, in the sense that we look at the spirituality part of it, the values. How can we then look at those values in us and see each other as what His Eminence Pakyam said, that brothers and sisters, we're all brothers and sisters. How can we do at the ground root level? Because it's not easy. But if we have families, which mother being the educator, first educator, to change their mindset, to convey that there's equality between man and woman. And there's so many things we have to do. But here again, as I said, how can, as we NGOs, able to bring about a change in the way we think, in the way we look at each other?
Okay. Thank you so much. So that can be your question for a discussion at your lunch table. And like this young man back here was saying, socialize. I mean, don't sit down with the person that you know. Sit down with somebody that looks very different and make a new friend, okay? We're going to go upstairs for lunch. You have to have a ticket in order to get into the lunch. And so, ushers, do you have the tickets back there? Okay. So please, everyone, make sure you get a ticket.